Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Dale Wallace is a Canadian who has made Belize his home. In 2012, our Belize Watch team caught up with him at his home in San Pedro on Burgess Key. In this edition of Belize Watch Revisited, we look back at our conversation with Wallace as he told us how he ended up in Belize. He was a part of a musical duo that performed on the island. In our June 13, 2012 show, Wallace showed us the art of guitar making. We take a break to hear from our partners, Shell Belize Limited, The Barry, and Honorable Kevin Bernard.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
In the heart of the Orange Walk East constituency, a new chapter of progress and connectivity is being written. Under the visionary leadership of the area representative, the Honorable Kevin Bernard, and in partnership with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, we gather here today to celebrate a monumental achievement. Through a remarkable collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan and the Government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, we stand witness to the inauguration of not 1, but 2 Digital Connect Labs in the Orange Walk East constituency. 3 years ago, the village of Santa Marta faced a significant challenge. There was no telephone connectivity, leaving its residents isolated from the digital age. But today, thanks to the relentless efforts of the Honorable Kevin Bernard, a transformation has taken place. A smart tower was erected, bridging the gap and bringing the power of communication to Santa Marta. And now, in a remarkable step forward, we proudly unveil a brand new digital lab where the entire community will have access to cutting-edge technology and digital resources. This digital lab will empower the residents of Santa Marta, opening doors to education, healthcare, and countless opportunities for growth. As the People's United Party government propels us into a new digital era, Santa Marta shall not be left behind. But the story doesn't end there. As the sun sets on this monumentous day, we turn our attention to Carmelita Village, also nestled within the Orange Walk East constituency. With great joy and enthusiasm, we celebrate the inauguration of yet another Digital Connect Center. Once again, the power of digitalization reaches the people, bringing them closer to a future of limitless possibilities. As we witness the birth of a digital revolution in the Orange Walk East constituency, let us embrace this moment with hope and enthusiasm. Together, we shall create a future where no community is left behind, where connectivity becomes a catalyst for growth, and where the power of technology truly transforms lives. Welcome to the digital age.
I'm here at the workshop and home of Dale Wallace, and Dale has been around San Pedro for many years. How many years have you been around San Pedro, Dale?
By 25, 30 years.
30 years. Let me start off with what brought you to San Pedro in the first place.
Well, I just came on vacation, wanted to do some scuba diving. Of course, I'd heard about the fabulous waters here, in the reef. So that's what I came to do, and I spent a couple of days in Belize City. Somebody says you have to go to the Keys, so I caught the freight boat, came out on the freight boat, and as soon as I reached San Pedro, I said, I like this feels good. And of course, I walked into refreshment at one of the local bars at the time, in the daytime, and one buddy looks at me and said, "Why, you look like you belong here, man." And so I said, "Well, no, I just visiting. I just reached," and so that kind of set the theme of what was going to happen. I never knew. I just came for vacation, and then I met Will Nunez, who I play music with up till this day. This is 36 years. I'm back at it talk now.
36 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's my long time.
Yeah, a long time. It's we're good friends, and he's my compadre, and so that's kind of why I ended up staying here. For the music and for of course the wonderful ocean, the sea that's here, the Caribbean Sea is just fabulous.
Okay, let's back up now. And where are you from originally?
Originally from Canada, northern Manitoba, which is in the center of Canada, way up in the ice and snow. And now my dress now is t-shirts, shorts, and sandals. That's it.
And sometimes no shirt.
Not even, yeah.
No problem.
No problem.
No, Dale, how did you hear about Belize way up there in Manitoba, Canada? What made you come to Belize in the first place?
Well, I had traveled through Mexico quite a bit and traveling around as a young fellow, and I was up in the Yucatan, and that's where I heard about Belize. And I actually got to Chetumal at one time. Never made it across the border that time, but that planted the seed when I met people from Belize in Chetumal and talking with them, and they said, "Oh, you have to come and see Belize." So on my next trip, I made a point of that.
Now, how did they describe Belize to you that first time when you heard about Belize? What was the pitch like?
Well, Belize was it wasn't even known at that time, 1970s.
That's what I'm curious to know. How did they put it to you about Belize?
They said you have to come to Belize just to see the place because it's so beautiful, it's so peaceful and quiet, and you have to go to the Keys and see our beautiful reef, and this is really what.
Was it a Belizean that spoke to you?
Yes, yeah.
And so you went back, and then you decided that seed was planted in your mind.
Planted right there that I had to come and see Belize, which I did. And also a couple of my friends had been down here earlier, and they had mentioned, talked about it, and they had been down in the south in Placencia area. But so I came out to San Pedro, and this is home.
You said that they told you that you look like a local, that you blend right in, that you belong. And that was the first on your first visit to San Pedro, right? Did you stay then right then and there?
No, I stayed for like 6 months or something like that. I had a visa for a month. But of course you get to know the officer here, and he would stamp my passport every month for me and give me a leave extension. And I say, "Oh, I want to stay a little bit more." And of course, I started to play music with Will at that time, and so it continued. Then I went back to Canada and came back again,
Now describe that first meeting between you and Will. How did that go?
Well, it's funny, because I was walking down the street of San Pedro. In those days, it was all sand street. And I heard a guitar. And it was in Fido's Courtyard. Well, it's now Fido's Courtyard restaurant and bar, but at that time it was Fido's Hotel, run by him and his dad. His dad built the hotel, and Will, the two of them. And I heard this guitar playing, and I couldn't see what it was, so I had to go around the fence and around by the beach and come in, up in there. And there's this guy, he was playing guitar and harmonica and playing calypso songs, like from the Merry Man, from Barbados, and calypso songs and Harry Belafonte's tunes, and, just really nice island music. And I just stopped and I watched, and I ordered a rum and coke, of course, and a Caribbean rum, and relaxed and just listened and listened. And he watched me. He didn't watch me. He says, "Look like you like this kind of music, And I say, "Yeah, this is fabulous." And he says, "Do you play?" I said, "I play a little bit." And I say, "I have a guitar with me," and I went back and got it. I stayed at a little boarding room, and I went back and got it and brought it over, and we started from there. That's it. He would show me one song, and I would show him a little bit of what I play, and then back and forth. And then finally, we just started to entertain other people. People started to enjoy how the two of we played together, And it's funny, you know, because we're only months apart in our ages. He was born in September 49. I was born in January 50, so it's like 3 or 4 months difference. It's almost like we're brothers, you know. Really, because the way we play music together, and we've done it for years, is just, it's just something that you would never think would happen in your life. That you know, I was born thousands and thousands of miles away to come here and to meet somebody like that. Nothing you ever expect, but you have to go with the flow.
Go with the flow, live in the flow, right? which is something that we all should learn to do. You know, just learn to appreciate what is happening to us when it's happening to us, and capture the moment fully, live the moment fully. Now, you said you did not stay, and you stayed for 6 to 8 months, and you went back to Canada then, right?
Yeah, and then I came back again for another 6 or 8 months. I think I went back again. Finally, when I came back again, you know, then I met a local girl and we got married, and we have grandchildren on the island now. So now we have third generation.
Tell me about the local girl.
La China. Everybody calls her China, right? Well, we've been married for 33 years now. And, well, you know, she's just a local girl, but a hardworking girl. And on the island, she's known now for her ceviche. She's been the top ceviche maker in San Pedro for years. That was her business. As a matter of fact, she does catering, ceviches and cocktails and, you know, different things like that. So she has her only business, you know. And we're still happily married.
You know. Love at first sight, yeah?
Kind of, you know.
Kind of, huh?
Yeah, now that I think about it. Yeah. It was just a mutual attraction, you know. That.
Tell me about the children.
Well, I have 3 boys and 2 girls, and 4 of them living on the island now, 3 grandchildren. And one of my sons, Dale, he's a musician, Dale Jr. He lives here in San Pedro. And I have a boy in Cayo, and 2 girls here. Like I say, with 3 grandchildren. And my son Dale's a musician. He started playing when he was 12 years old here in San Pedro as a drummer, and he's still playing to this day. Yeah.
Dale, what are some of the early experiences here in San Pedro, besides meeting your wife, that you may recall that made you feel at home and like, okay, I don't need to go back anymore and stay here?
Well, you know, in those days especially, San Pedro was such a small town. You know, there's only 700 people, and you knew everybody, and you get to know their kids, of course. And everybody hails you when you walk down the street. You know, it was just a really nice feeling. And being accepted, you know, into the community. And of course, being a musician helped, because I was at a lot of functions where the music was being played, and so I was there playing. And of course, I learned the local culture. I went along with the, you know.
You could talk Creole?
One little bit. One little bit, you know, like the Spanish, one little bit too. Yeah. Un poco. Pero, yeah, but, and I never felt out of place, you know. And I could go to any function. I still, to this day, I go, because I have relatives all up and down the Yucatan now. If I go to Mexico and I go to a function, a family birthday or 15 años or something, I can be the only white person, you know, is there. But I don't feel out of place, and I don't feel uncomfortable, and I walk in and I talk with everybody, and everybody greets me, and you know, I always felt comfortable in Belize, and in Belize City also. You know, in those days you could walk around, you know, and I used to walk around and meet everybody, and you know, used to walk the Bird's Isle, you know, and back without any problems and stuff, you know. And
that was the Belize of the 70s.
Yes.
And parts of the 80s.
Yes. Man, but and all over the country, you know, I traveled a little bit around, and I always met people. I just felt very, very comfortable. Yeah.
Now the music, Dale, how did you learn to play music? Were you taught music, or was it something that came naturally?
It came naturally, although my family has some musicians in it. My father was a musician, and his father also. So several generations. But my older brother was my main influence. You know, he's a guitarist and eventually became a recording engineer and producer in Canada. And he was my main influence. And still is to this day. He's a fine guitar player also up in Canada.
Now tell me, Dale, what did you do to support your family? Did you do anything else besides playing music as a support for your young family?
When I first came, of course, I worked at Fido's bar, you know, tending the bar and help run the hotel and doing reservations for them and you know, writing letters and things like that for people that were coming down on vacation. You know, if they needed reservations, we write back and forth. In those days, they never had the internet. You know, matter of fact, they never had a post office in San Pedro. It was a police station. You had to go to the police. Yeah, and so that's what I used to do in the first year's work there. Yeah, and then I worked at Paradise Hotel for quite a few years. Doing inventory and supplies and things like that, and managing the bar, different things until like the music is a hobby. It was a hobby because we just love to play, and we still do to this day. Just love to play. It's a hobby that got out of hand because we started to get in demand. Everybody, all the restaurants wanted us to play and different functions, you know, for the tourists or whatever, and we ended up playing 6-7 nights a week, and for years, me and Will and Oscar Aguilar was our singer at that time too, and Emilio Rivera was a guitarist with us. Chico Flores used to play guitar with us also back in those days. Guitar trio is what we started with, just acoustic guitars, you know, until the crowd started to get too big where we couldn't even hear ourselves play. So then we got a little amplifier and, you know, some microphones and things like that to start to build up the sounds, you know.
I saw a bit of that growth because from time to time I would see you guys playing, and you know, I saw the instruments getting more sophisticated, you know, as the years went by.
We were a guitar trio basically, and then a guitar duet, and then now Will Nunez plays keyboards mostly. He still plays guitar. He's a fine guitar player. But it's become a little more sophisticated now with more equipment and stuff. Although we keep it low key. We don't play too loud and everything. We play more dinner music now. You know, like from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock at restaurants and beach barbecues and things like that.
But your name changed over the years as well, because I can remember Will and the Turtle Shells, Will and different names, and now it's Will and Dale, right?
Now it's just Will and Dale. But before it was Will and the Caribbean Shells. Caribbean Shells was his band.
Caribbean Shells, not Turtle Shells, right? I must have invented the Turtle Shells.
Turtle Shells, everything. And then after we started to play, we became Will and the Outlaws, the Tequila Trio, Will and Friends. And now it's just Will and Dale. We're still hanging in there.
And I think you recorded a few CDs, didn't you?
Yeah, we have a few CDs. The first one was called San Pedro Souvenir. And that's just island songs. You know, not really original songs, but our versions of a lot of Caribbean type songs. We did one with Oscar Aguilar also. He's a fine singer, a Mexican style, you know, with the Tequila Trio. And we did that one too also, and a country and western country album. And this is one thing, I was so surprised when I first came to Belize. That country music was so popular. They knew all the songs and they knew all the artists and everything. And I started to wonder why is this. And they say, well, Radio Belize. That was the lifeline to the music, you know. And they used to have a special program, country and western night, and play all the top hits from Marty Robbins and Hank Williams, of course, and the biggest one, Jim Reeves.
Oh, yeah, Jim Reeves was big.
Jim Reeves, like a patron saint in Belize.
In those days, I used to work at Radio Belize. I started working at Radio Belize from 1968 and right through. But so Jim Reeves was big indeed.
He was very big.
Couldn't go wrong by playing.
Speaking of Radio Belize, Will and I went over to Belize. In the early 70s, and we recorded at Radio Belize upstairs there.
And Catu's building.
Yeah.
I think I could remember that incident.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was ever waited.
Well, Wade was the chief broadcasting officer, you know, and
He'd come to San Pedro and he heard us, and we played with the Lions Club and things like that. And I think we played for an event for the Lions Club in Belize City.
yeah.
And then he said, "Well, come over to the station and record something." And we recorded a couple of songs there on the radio. So that was fun.
That was when you were Will and the Caribbean Shells, if I'm not mistaken. No?
Before anything. That was. I think I might have been married at that time, but so it had to be back in '76 or '77 maybe, or '78 or '9, around that time.
Yeah, I was way back. And that's around the time when I was assistant program organizer at Radio Belize.
Come a long way too.
Yeah. So I've been there from a little boy.
Yeah, great.
But tell me, so the music is in you. You say, and that is your passion. And now you are a well-known and world-known guitar manufacturer, if I may put it that way, or a maker of guitars. How did that start?
Well, basically because in San Pedro, in Belize, if you break your guitar, there's nobody to fix it. So I had to, basically learn to fix guitars and fix my own. And of course, I started to fix other people's and repair them. And so I was repairing for years, and finally, one day, I don't know how or why, I just said, hey, I'm going to try and make one of these, because I had taken them apart and put them back together and get them working all the time. Talking about acoustic guitars, not necessarily electric guitars, but acoustic guitars. And so I figured I'd try and make one. So I sent away for a book. Yeah, I sent away for a book. Somebody gave me a catalog and had this book in there about guitar making. So I sent away for a book, and so I get this book and I'm looking through it and I'm studying it. I say, yeah, I think I can do this. So I got my wood right here in San Pedro from Granel's Cabinet Shop, who still supplies me with great, fantastic wood to this day, And so. And my kids thought, oh, the old man's lost it now. He thinks he can make guitars. But sure enough, when it finished, everybody said, that's not bad.
What year was that, Will?
Will and Dale, they come.
Will and Dale, so what year was that?
We're like one unit, Will and Dale. I can't remember now, but it was about at least 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Which I like to tell people too, it's never too late to start something, If you have it in you and you want to do something, I was almost 50 years old when I started doing it, when I said, okay, I'm going to make guitars. And then I left it for a few years, but the first one came out not so bad. I mean, although I used a cheap kind of wood for most of it, But so then I just continued. I left it for a few years, but now for the last 3 or 4 years, I've seen that that's what I'm going to do now. As my music is dropping off a little bit, I'll pick up on the guitar making.
Okay. What happened to that first guitar that you made?
My son still has it. He has it hanging on his wall over there, right there. I don't know if might be able to see it today. Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, so it's still around. Yeah. And then I tried to, make a couple of others, and then somebody said, can you make one for me? I said, I'll try. So I made one for somebody and made some small guitars, some student guitars and things like that. But now I've moved up a notch into classical guitars, using the beautiful hardwoods from here, zircote and rosewood and chechem, which is a surprise. The chechem.
Chechem being a poison wood would not make a good guitar, but apparently it does.
Beautiful, and a very nice sound. And chechem and the hobio, another wood that I'm using also. And of course, mahogany. Using a lot of mahogany, and the cedar. The cedar is very nice, beautiful cedar that I use, and it's really easy to work with. And a lovely wood, the red and the kind of whitish cedar. So that's what I'm using now.
Have you taught anyone in here in Belize to make guitars?
No, I haven't. As a matter of fact, I'm still learning myself.
Okay.
But
come on, I mean, I've heard so much praises about your guitars. I mean, for example, my friend Danny, he talks so much about your guitars, calling one of the best guitars around. That he has ever experienced, and he's been a musician for many years. And I've heard a lot of people talking about your guitars.
Well, That's a good thing, but that's because I've come up a step. You see, I kind of got stuck about a year ago, and I was thinking I've got to bring these guitars up to a better level, and I was seriously thinking about going to a guitar school. You know, luthier school. Luthier is what they call guitar makers, right? So I was thinking of going to in Mexico, but what happened was one day a friend of mine drove up into my yard here with a golf cart and said, "I want you to meet this guy," and it was a young Cuban fellow.
Okay.
And he's a master guitar maker. He studied in Cuba for 5 years.
Wow.
So this is a blessing from heaven.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, I was thinking about, what am I going to do? How am I going to get my guitars better here? There's nobody to teach me in Belize. No way to learn. So he pulls up on a golf cart and walks in, and we shake hands, and he says, "Oh, this is your nice shop. This is what you're doing here. Let me show you how I do this. Let me show you this." And we started working together. And he showed me all the elite things that I needed to bring it up to the next level. So
Is
that's
he still around? Though?
Yes, he's still here, and he's still working right here with me right now. Yeah, and he's a fine musician too. You're gonna hear of him one day. Okay. And by the way, his name is Luis Amauris Leyva Suarez.
Luis Amauris Leyva Suarez
from Havana, Cuba. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know how you got to Belize and why did he come to Belize?
Well, I think he's traveled around with different bands, Cuban bands, to different parts of the world, you know, Japan and Europe and things like that. But I think he came to Belize invited to play at a Cuban-owned club in Kikaker. And then he was over there for a while, and then, of course, he came to San Pedro, you know, one day or whatever like that. And now he's been out here in San Pedro for the last, 6-8 months or whatever. Very, very nice young fellow.
It's just a few months ago that he came into your life.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And it's made a big change.
Now, Dale, how long would it take to make a guitar from scratch?
Well, it can take about 6 to 8 weeks, you know. It's not easy.
One guitar.
Yeah, if you're starting from scratch. Now, I try to get ahead a little bit by having things ready so that if somebody orders a guitar, it depends. We can do one in a week if we have all the parts ready, but that's really pushing it. But we try to get it, maybe 2 weeks if I have the wood ready.
You put a brand name on it, like Dale Guitars or something?
Wallace Guitars.
Wallace Guitars.
Yeah, there's my logo. You can see the logo right there. Yeah.
Wallace Guitars.
And that's the label that goes inside.
Okay.
And the label is designed kind of around the Belizean flag, with the border around the label there. Yeah. And the palm tree and the mahogany tree on there, of course, representing San Pedro, and the mahogany tree, of course, the national tree of Belize. Yeah.
Now, how many guitars have you sold approximately? Do you keep count of how many guitars you might have made and sold?
Yeah, they're all numbered and labeled, of course. And I'm up to about number 31 or 32, something like that, on the handmade guitars. Of course, guitars are a work of art. I'm basically just a wood carver, I'm just that I do a different art form than most of the wood carvers in Belize. But as pieces of art increase in value over time, of course, guitars also increase in their sound. The sound gets better, the wood gets more mellow, and they settle down over the years, of course. So guitars that are numbered early, for instance, the early guitars from any makers are valuable now. So eventually, hopefully mine will be valuable to somebody in the future,
Well, I think it already is. Like I said, my friend Danny, he just holds on to his guitar like a treasure. I think he brings it to you for safekeeping and all, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah. It's right here. It's right here right now, as a matter of fact. And I use it to demonstrate to people what kind of guitars we can make and things like that. Yeah, and it's actually one of the nicest guitars made with Zircote on the back and sides.
Yeah. You're so proud of the guitar. What would be the price of one of the guitars you make?
Well, the handmade guitars, like I say, it takes many hours. I figure about 200 hours has to go into a guitar. My prices now are ranging from about $600 US. up to $1,000 US.
And that's very reasonable considering the amount of work and the fact that it's handmade.
Yeah.
You know, that makes it special.
What's special about guitars too is everyone is unique. You know, somebody can order a classical guitar with the same wood, but it will not be the same as the other one. Everyone is unique. Everyone has a different feel and sound, different tone, and of course you try to reach the best you can out of the wood, you know, to make the best you can with every guitar. But that's what the value of the guitar. A person who wants a handmade guitar, it's the only one that exists in the world, is that one.
So one handmade guitar, then that makes it extremely valuable to own. I would like to ask you a favor, Dale, if you would show me around as how you go about making a guitar from scratch, right? Would you do that for me? All right.
We will continue this edition of Belize Watch Revisited, featuring our conversation with musician and guitar maker Dale Wallace, after a word from our partners, Shell Belize Limited, De Barry, and Honorable Kevin Bernard.
We are De Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Honduras, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. De Barry. Get more? Be less.
Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
In the heart of the Orange Walk East constituency, a new chapter of progress and connectivity is being written. Under the visionary leadership of the area representative, the Honorable Kevin Bernard, and in partnership with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, we gather here today to celebrate a monumental achievement. Through a remarkable collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan and the Government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, we stand witness to the inauguration of not 1, but 2 Digital Connect Labs in the Orange Walk East constituency. 3 years ago, the village of Santa Marta faced a significant challenge. There was no telephone connectivity, leaving its residents isolated from the digital age. But today, thanks to the relentless efforts of the Honorable Kevin Bernard, a transformation has taken place. A smart tower was erected, bridging the gap and bringing the power of communication to Santa Marta. And now, in a remarkable step forward, we proudly unveil a brand new digital lab where the entire community will have access to cutting-edge technology and digital resources. This digital lab will empower the residents of Santa Marta, opening doors to education, healthcare, and countless opportunities for growth. As the People's United Party government propels us into a new digital era, Santa Marta shall not be left behind. But the story doesn't end there. As the sun sets on this monumentous day, we turn our attention to Carmelita Village, also nestled within the Orange Walk East constituency. With great joy and enthusiasm, we celebrate the inauguration of yet another Digital Connect Center. Once again, the power of digitalization reaches the people, bringing them closer to a future of limitless possibilities. As we witness the birth of a digital revolution in the Orange Walk East constituency, let us embrace this moment with hope and enthusiasm. Together, we shall create a future where no community is left behind, where connectivity becomes a catalyst for growth, and where the power of technology truly transforms lives. Welcome to the digital age.
You made these here?
Yeah, those big guitars. They're
How this one at least?
yeah,
That's a Fender.
That's a Fender Strat. These are actual copies, twice as big as the real guitars. They're not working guitars. They're meant for display.
But you said you made these?
Yeah, I made those there, and those are at Fido's Courtyard. They're #1 music That's the place to go. Yeah.
Everybody goes there.
Yeah.
And then this is the logo you were pointing out.
Yeah, that's the logo. And this is a local boy made this too, Louis Zapata.
Nice, man. www.wallacegutarsbelize.com.
Yeah. And there's my nephew in Canada designed a chili pepper bridge, you know, where the strings tie on. He wanted a chili pepper on one of his guitars. I did that.
Okay. So you actually put this on a guitar?
Yeah.
Like that. All right.
And this is an electric guitar design from my brother.
Okay, you do electric guitars as well?
I've made a few, yes, but I don't like to mess with them too much. I prefer the acoustic guitars.
Oh.
And speaking of like chili pepper bridges, I'm the first person I think to start to use different things for the bridges. I put crocodiles, birds. I've done palm trees, coconut palm trees for the bridge. I've even done a Bellican beer bottle for a bridge.
For a bridge?
Yeah.
Wow.
So somebody wants to make a Bellican beer bottle for the bridge of the guitar. So.
Real custom made indeed.
Yeah, because you can see this is the typical bridge for hundreds of years. This is what they do. But I want to do something original. So if people ask for something, I'll make it for them.
And would the bridge affect the sound of the guitar? Like if I choose a Bellican bottle over a chili pepper?
As long as you make it properly, it shouldn't make too much difference, you know. Yeah. Because bridges actually these are basically the straightforward classical bridges, but there's different bridge designs on different kinds of guitars. But not quite the way I do it now. So.
And I'm happy for this opportunity indeed to visit with you and that you. When do you usually wake up, Dale?
I'm an early bird now, 6 o'clock.
So I never pull you out of bed for going to the show, right?
No, anyways,
let's start seeing the guitar making from scratch.
Let's go over here then with some of the wood. Here's 2 pieces of wood. Now this is local cedar. These have been joined together.
Okay. And thin.
And very thin, although it'll be a lot thinner than that when it's finished. And of course you test the wood by tapping it. It's called
That's all right.
tap tone. So you find out how the wood sounds and the tap tone of it. Here's some beautiful local rosewood. And this is for a small student size guitar. And of course I tap tone this and you get a beautiful ringing sound from it. And that's the local rosewood. And the local rosewood is just beautiful.
This is beautiful, yeah, because when this is polished and
when it's finished up,
it look great. Now, are these sticks here? Are these for joining, just joining, or they affect the sound?
These are braces, and they also affect the sound a little bit because this is the back of the guitar. And
it would be the inside part.
Yeah,
right?
the inside of the back of the guitar.
So the song.
It's affected here, yes, because once the sides are on and of course the top is on, this is acting as like a speaker box. You know, the sound has to come out, and where does it come out? It has to come out through the sound hole. So the whole thing vibrates. So this is part of the vibration process too. But it's also for the strength of holding the form of the guitar together.
So if you put in extra pieces, for example, you would get a different
sound. Yeah, you don't want to put too many.
And you would space them differently.
Yeah, this is the standard setup.
But this is a standard.
Standard setup, yeah.
Okay.
And this will be a top of a guitar eventually.
What will be the top of the guitar? This?
Well, yeah, what we call the soundboard. Let me just quickly show you this here. This is a small version, which will be going with this guitar here.
Okay.
Now this here, that's the top of the guitar. This will be cut out. That's where the sound hole will be. Now this is inlaid in there. That's called a rosette, and that is inlaid in there. You carve out part of the wood here, and you set that in. And this is made here locally. And yeah, you can see where it's cut there, and a little plastic edge around there. And this is habim. That wood is habim.
Why
this is red cedar.
It's not just the same wood that is used.
Well, just to show the hole, you know, to
accentuate it, to bring it up.
Accentuate it. Sure, that's right. And of course, then the inside of the top. Now, the top is the most important part of the guitar. This is where the sound comes from. So all of this has to be exactly right. And
Does it have to be lined with the ones at the bottom, or
no,
not necessarily?
not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Although these are pretty close. And then these will be the braces. These braces will all be glued in here in a pattern like this. There. And there's 7 of these braces. And there's different designs. Yeah, different designs that they use on guitars. There's variations on this. Although this is a standard, what they call Torres style, which is from Antonio de Torres from Spain, who was the one who came up with this design and has been used for hundreds of years now. And
But this is really the sound.
that's where the sound comes from, yes. That design and that layout, yeah.
Okay.
And this has to be very, very thin, very, very thin top, 1.7 millimeters, not even 2 millimeters, which
So you can see
less.
got some work on this too.
Oh yes, this is not down to the final thickness yet. These pieces here will be joined together like this to make the neck of the guitar, the brasso, and we put a piece of Ziracote in the middle like this for the strength, and this will all be glued together like this. So eventually when it's finished it will look like this, and then it's cut at an angle, and then the wood is reversed for the angle of the neck, where the tuning pegs go here. This is the head of the guitar. This goes down inside to the guitar and connected in there. And there's a block. A block will be built up here about this high to hold these sides and everything together. I'll show you that in a minute.
Okay.
And here's a couple of here's a rosette, for example.
Okay.
Now,
the same rosette that you set in here.
a little bit different. This one.
A little different. I mean, but
yeah.
it's the same principle.
Yep, same principle. And here's a couple of backs. This is a Ziracote.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's Ziracote, and here's the Ziracote that's unfinished, and this is ordered for somebody's guitar. So with a strip in the middle that's joined. These two pieces are joined together. I'll show you that in a minute also, and some local woods. And here's the Chechem.
The Chechem, yeah.
And this is just beautiful wood.
And when this is
And
polished,
yeah. Show you the difference in these woods once the varnish and polish is put on here. Let me just get this. Now this is to simulate the. There you can look at the colors. You see the colors come out there. Look at the difference there now.
Yeah.
You see the orange and the brown and the black and the yellowish color. All of these colors come out once you polish the wood. For instance, now this rosewood here is just going to be spectacular.
there it goes, yeah.
Yeah, now you can compare the one side to the next, and that's what you're going to come up with. And it just brings out the grain and the beautiful wood. The Belizean wood is just beautiful. And the guitar makers and instrument makers are discovering this wood now.
So we might have another surge coming in our country for people wanting to get.
They have to
wood
be
for their
prepared
guitar.
because I never saw Ziracote anywhere before on guitars, but now it's starting to pop up on guitars that are made in the States and places like that. So.
Has the Chechem ever been featured on guitar before you start using it?
No, never. I've never seen anybody use it. Although there's some woods that are similar to it that people are starting to use now, and other kind of woods that come from Honduras and Belize, southern Mexico. Cocobolo is, for example, is one that they use. Of course, the Honduran mahogany and stuff like that. But a lot of that actually comes from Belize too. But Belize has to be careful with the rosewood, because this is the rosewood here.
Rosewood, yeah.
They have to mind that, not exploit it, because
the value of the rosewood. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
And it's just beautiful, and it has been exported from Belize for many years for marimba keys.
Okay.
I can show you an example of how the wood sounds. As a matter of fact, I think I have. Oh, this is Chechem. These will be what they call the bridges.
Okay.
Make this into a bridge, which will be something like this. Although I make different ones. It could be a palm tree, or like I say, or a bird. I can do different things, But that's where the strings tie on. So this is Ziracote. You can hear the nice sound.
Yeah.
Beautiful sound, And this is Chechem, and it's got Little different sound, not quite the same. Oh, this isn't the best piece, but and a rosewood. This wood here is cut, and this is cedar. And this is cut. This is called what they call kerfing, and this is to bend around the edge of the guitar to when you join it together. I'll show you that in a minute also. Okay. Right. Matter of fact, here's a, this. Oh,
here's one.
Yeah, it's mounted on a workboard. This is what they call a workboard. And you clamp your guitar on there and join the sides into the top and everything. You see, this one has the braces.
Braces are already on this one.
Already in there, yeah. And then these are called tentalones. Those are put individually in there to hold the sides to the top.
Okay.
And then the curved lining that I was just showing you goes all around the edge here to give more surface area for when the back goes onto the guitar. And the curved lining is something like this, you see, which goes around there to reinforce the top.
Okay.
And this is bent on a hot bending iron to give it the shape, you know. And then after you put the back on, you tie it with rope all the way around, like this. Once the back is on there.
Is that why is that to hold for it to stick good? Or?
Yeah, when it's glued in position, and then you wrap that all around, and this is about 100 feet of twine. You just keep going around tight as you can, and then that'll clamp it, give it an even clamping all around.
And how long do you have to keep it?
You can leave it for like 24 hours. You know, till it sets good, and then you can take it out.
Then you don't move it at all, just leave it there.
That's right. And here's a blank neck, which will be ready for gluing. The heel part will go on here, and then you shape your neck here. You round it, of course, and this is really much wider than it will be. You know, of course, it'll be much narrower like that one over there. And here's some of that rosewood I was talking about that they use for marimba keys.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, just wonderful sound, you know.
Rosewood is indeed valuable.
And you can use this for the in the band.
Yeah.
But these are just rough. And here's some big pieces of it too. You want to knock them together? Try.
No, I just want to see how heavy.
Try that. Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
I think I'll have to hold it to whatever.
Okay, try it. There you go. So that's to give you an idea of the sound and the solidness of the wood, you know. Here's solid pieces of ziricote. And here's some different pieces of ziricote here, which will be used to make into sides and the backs of the guitars. And the lovely thing about ziricote is, as you're working it, you don't know what's going to happen with the grain. You can be, this could be all dark, and you start sanding it and planing it, and all of a sudden the white starts to appear. So it's surprise, there it is. You just you're not sure. Like this side here,
unique, yeah.
This side is very dark, but on the other side it has the white. So every piece is different. Every guitar will be different.
Wow. So no two same guitar.
No two same guitar. No, even though they look the same and same shape and design. No two will be exactly the same.
So this is completely different from what would happen, let's say, in a guitar factory in the US or something like that, where more or less the guitars would be placed under the same
same mold, yeah.
Same mold, same regimen, same type of cut, same type of wood.
Yep, and they can, you know, there's some beautiful guitars, of course, that come out from the factories, but they make them by the thousands, you know, thousands and thousands, and one out of 1,000 might be that one that you get that is really good. The other ones might not be that good, you know. You know, but so that's the chance you take when you buy a manufactured guitar. But handmade guitars are very unique and very one of a kind. Yeah.
Do you have that particular guitar?
Yeah. This clamping system here is called a gold bar. A gold bar clamping system. The fellow from Cuba showed me how to make these, because I used to use just pieces of wood and bend them here.
Okay.
But he showed me how to have a spring inside with PVC.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, if you want to glue, for instance, this brace, once it has the glue on it, for instance, if you want to glue it in here, you put it in there, and you push this down, and voila. That's holding that tightly in place now, you see? And this is the go bar system.
Okay, so you put all these bars on each one?
Yeah, on each one as you go around. For instance, I glued these in last night. So these had all of these along here, like 4 or 5 of these to get the pressure and hold them in place like that. And this is called the go bar system. And it's pretty old. You know, it goes back, you know, hundreds of years probably that people use this system of clamping the guitars. Of course, this plate here is carved out a little bit to get the shape of the top. This is carved out, has a little bit of an angle on it to give the. Well, basically, so this wood, I would soak this wood for several hours in water, of course, and then you place it here on this electric blanket.
So the wood will be wet.
It will be wet. This is wet. And you sandwich it in between these two pieces. Now, this helps to distribute the heat, but also helps to distribute the force, the pressure, so it is an even pressure on the wood so it doesn't crack or split. Now, this would be plugged in, of course, and then it goes into the bending machine over there. Of course, the bending machine, this will slide in there like this, and then we would bend it down in the center like that. And then once it's bent down in the center, just hold that there. Then, of course, the ends will be up like this. Then you bend the sides.
Okay.
The ends down like this. Here,
bend it down.
That'll be bent down that way for the outside shape. I have some right here. I should have these out before, but this is what the sides look like once they come up. Yeah. You can feel that there, and see they're quite thin.
Yeah, very thin indeed.
Yeah. And these have to be taken down by hand to get that thickness, because the machines that they have here they can only get it down so far. Then you have to sand it down or plane it and sand it down to a couple of millimeters. Now the other
methods, right?
Well, the older method was with these pipes right here. Excuse me. With these type of pipes right here, which you heat with a torch. Like a blowtorch. So you put this in the vise, and then you would heat you get the pipe hot, and then with a device like this to keep the wood wet, you wet your wood like this. Now, keep in mind that this thing is very hot, very, very hot, because you heat it with a torch from the other end, and then you will bend your wood like this, slowly by hand. And this can take up to 2 days to do properly, to get the exact shape that you need. And you have to be very careful, especially on the inside joint here. Yeah, you don't want to break it or burn it too much. So you have to be very careful. And it takes a lot of practice, but once you get it down, you can do it pretty well. And this, of course, is zero coat. It's going to be beautiful, you know.
We will wrap up our visit with Dale Wallace after this break to hear from our partners, Shell Belize Limited, the Barry, and Honorable Kevin Bernard.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, Sa Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Feel this.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
In the heart of the Orange Walk East constituency, a new chapter of progress and connectivity is being written. Under the visionary leadership of the area representative, the Honorable Kevin Bernard, and in partnership with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, we gather here today to celebrate a monumental achievement. Through a remarkable collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan and the Government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, we stand witness to the inauguration of not 1, but 2 Digital Connect Labs in the Orange Walk East constituency. 3 years ago, the village of Santa Marta faced a significant challenge. There was no telephone connectivity, leaving its residents isolated from the digital age. But today, thanks to the relentless efforts of the Honorable Kevin Bernard, a transformation has taken place. A smart tower was erected, bridging the gap and bringing the power of communication to Santa Marta. And now, in a remarkable step forward, we proudly unveil a brand new digital lab where the entire community will have access to cutting-edge technology and digital resources. This digital lab will empower the residents of Santa Marta, opening doors to education, healthcare, and countless opportunities for growth. As the People's United Party government propels us into a new digital era, Santa Marta shall not be left behind. But the story doesn't end there. As the sun sets on this monumentous day, we turn our attention to Carmelita Village, also nestled within the Orange Walk East constituency. With great joy and enthusiasm, we celebrate the inauguration of yet another Digital Connect Center. Once again, the power of digitalization reaches the people, bringing them closer to a future of limitless possibilities. As we witness the birth of a digital revolution in the Orange Walk East constituency, let us embrace this moment with hope and enthusiasm. Together, we shall create a future where no community is left behind, where connectivity becomes a catalyst for growth, and where the power of technology truly transforms lives. Welcome to the digital age.
Yes.
So you, Dale, you have created this right at the downstairs of your home.
Yes, it's a lot of work, but yeah, I hope to expand it a little bit. But I work outdoors, basically. You see, it's
I can see that.
which is nice, and all the neighbors walk by. I know all the neighbors and the kids, and you know, so it's a nice place to work.
But I don't see any burglar bars or anything surrounding your place. I mean, it's right here in the open.
Yeah, well, it's a quiet street, and the neighbors are good, so everybody watches out for each other, you know, and keep an eye on things. So
I guess folks don't even know what to do with what they have here. They say no, what you know.
What are they going to take? Some pieces of ziricote here? Take it. Yeah, but no, it's very nice. I just feel really privileged, you know, to be living in Belize and San Pedro, and I'm really proud to be the first guitar maker in Belize. I know people have made the odd instruments at home, you know.
Harp and marimba and so on. But
people have made some things.
I've heard of a guitar.
People have made some guitars, I imagine, you know. Not professional guitars, and these are professional they're becoming world-class guitars, you know. Hopefully I can just continue to make them quality, you know. Yeah. And proud product of Belize.
Yeah, that's what's important. It's a proud product of Belize, and I would like to encourage you to maybe teach other young Belizeans to the art of making guitars, so that maybe the seed you have planted here will live on for a long time.
I hope so, because Belize has a lot of talent, especially in the wood carving area. The birds and the fish and the different artistic pieces that they do with the wood carvings are fantastic, but nobody has stepped into the musical realm of making musical instruments. Well, here, let me show you. We'll start with this one because it's not quite finished yet.
Uh-huh.
And this is a beautiful red cedar top with ziricote inlay here, cedar neck with a ziricote in the middle for the strength, and this is the chichem back and sides.
Chichem really looks good, man.
Yeah, and it's going to have a nice sound.
So that's how you test the sound, huh?
Well, kind of, you tap it with your ball of your finger, you know. That gives you an idea.
Have you ever done a guitar that when you tap it, you say, let's start this over again?
Yeah, because you can hear if there's a little flaw in it, like a crack. Especially if there's a crack in it, then you can. This guitar here, now I was saying about the bridges, this is a completely original idea and an original bridge, which is the hummingbird.
Yeah.
And now this top is a different, because this is different. This is old mahogany. This is the old mahogany that they're bringing up from the rivers.
And you hear the difference in the song,
You can
right?
hear the difference,
You
yeah.
tap it.
Yeah. And then Chechem backhand sides also. Now this guitar is a little bit different because it's designed for steel strings, not nylon strings. A classical guitar. This is a steel string guitar, and this has the Hobio inlay here also, which is a nice contrast. And the Chechem and red cedar here, of course, and inlays here for the strength of the neck, to encourage the neck to be strong. So those two are almost finished, and they're ordered. Those guitars are ordered from people.
So far you have not had the time to hang up your guitar in a store and hope that it sells, right?
No, not as yet. I've still got 6 more on order, and things like that.
You're
So.
always busy.
Now this is the guitar for your friend Danny.
This is Danny's guitar.
Yeah.
That I think he
Danny Schmitz.
he adopted some software, he told me.
Yes, he put electronics in it, so you can plug this in to amplify it. It has a microphone under the bridge here, and a small microphone over here. It has 2 types of pickups.
And he's proud of this guitar because he talks a lot about it.
Yes, he ordered it and kind of designed it. He wanted it with this nice, what they call a cutaway here. And he sent down the parts for some of it from the States. Now this is a steel string guitar, but not a classical nylon string.
Which one is harder to play, the steel string or the nylon?
The nylon is easier on the fingers.
On the finger.
Yeah, so for beginners, it's good.
So.
Yeah. But no, they're basically the same to playing. To play them. Yeah.
On the steel
Yeah, you can use a pick your fingers. You can do finger picking.
Sabor a mí.
Sabor a mí.
Sabor a mí.
No.
Yeah.
So this is beautiful Cerakote.
Cerakote backing, yeah.
With a 3-piece Cerakote, because we put an extra strip in there because of the width of the guitar. It's a very wide guitar, so we had to make it a little wider, and so we put the strip in there.
And then
And the sides, and you can see how bending the sides with the Cerakote is. You have to be very careful. But it came out beautiful.
And then the logo, your logo.
Yes,
is right
they have the label inside there. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you see the label. You might have to have a light. But.
That's good.
And this is guitar number 25.
Okay.
Number 25. That's Danny's. That's Danny Schmitz.
That is
Danny Schmitz.
that is lucky guitar. Maybe it's lucky number.
It's beautiful guitar. Now, and here's something new that somebody asked me to make. You might wonder, what is this? A small little guitar. Well, it's actually a ukulele.
Ukulele, yeah.
Which is Hawaiian.
Hawaiian, yeah.
And this is the first one ever made in Belize. So there,
So you're
there you
making
go.
the ukulele now. Okay, yeah.
But ukuleles are, I'm not sure, I don't play one that well, but but they play the
Hawaiians are
la 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 la. That's a ukulele. So first one ever made in Belize, and this is barbaholote wood.
Barbaholote.
Barbaholote, and it's very similar to mahogany. It looks like mahogany, but it's called. And the reason they call it barbaholote, I believe, and it's actually from the tamarind tree, I believe, tamarindo. Es tamarindo. I believe why they call it that, because if you take a rough piece of it and you rub it one way, it feels like whiskers.
Okay.
But if you rub it the other way, it's smooth.
So barba holote for
Yeah,
the
as a matter, I can show you a piece right there. There's a piece of the barba holote. Now, if you run your fingers this way, it's smooth. But if you pull it back,
Yeah,
here,
you feel like, yeah.
right there, right here, you really feel it.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's barba holote. Barba is whiskers, I guess.
Whiskers, yeah.
So that's a local name, you know. And of course, in here we have some of the other wood, you know, that I'll be using here. This is some beautiful rosewood here. Here's the hobio, which is unbelievable, the colors and the grain in the hobio.
Beautiful wood in Belize.
Yes, I'll tell you. And of course, more ziricote. Some of these are kind of ruined. There's for a tendency now the woods I'm going to be using are ziricote, the rosewood for the back and the sides of the guitar, because they have such beautiful sound. And for the tops of the guitars, depending on the guitar, I'll be using the old mahogany or the red cedar mostly. I'm going to shy away from the chichema a little bit, trying to get a better sound with the top quality ziricotes. With the chichema and the hobio, they're nice and beautiful designs, and they sound all right and everything, but for the real top quality will be ziricote and the rosewood.
And Dale, is it hard to play a guitar? I mean, I don't know for the life of me how to play a guitar. So, you just gotta.
You have to start somewhere.
Right? And you gotta first of all be musically inclined, I'm sure.
Well, you have to. Everybody's got it in there. They just have to bring it out. But everybody says, "What's the first thing you do to learn the guitar?" I say, "You have to have a guitar."
That's right.
So that's why I'm here now, making guitars for people. But actually, for a person that really wants to learn, there's always somebody willing to help you, to show you the chords. You just, a neighbor or an uncle or, a grandfather, somebody knows how to play a couple of chords, and that's all you have to do. Learn to play a couple of chords and just sit down and practice it until you can move your fingers, and it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Well, this has been certainly a great experience, Dale. I don't know if there's anything else that we did not go through.
I don't know. I think
we started from.
Covered everything. I could have shown you maybe a couple other things of how you join the wood together, but yeah, I think we pretty well summed it up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we did, and certainly it was very educational for me. And what makes me feel so good as a Belizean is to see guitars being made in Belize and taking our name abroad and showing what we have, the beautiful wood that we have. So that to me is very important, because anything we do for Belize and to put Belize out there is what we should continue doing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I've been involved in the tourist industry since I came to San Pedro, entertaining tourists and playing for the locals, of course, too. But mainly promoting Belize. I've always been promoting it and singing about it, of course. We always sing nice songs and calypso songs and everything. So this is the next step, of promotion. Anything that you can promote properly and conservation is a big thing. You don't want to exploit everything, but you do want to use the natural resources and encourage people, the local artisans, to start to manufacture other things rather than sending the wood abroad and being manufactured into things. They can produce them right there.
And send the manufactured goods abroad.
Send the finished product over and reap the rewards,
It's much more valuable going as a guitar than going as a chunk of wood.
That's right, exactly. That's right. And somebody else is going to make the money off it instead of the local person. So try and keep it here. And if anybody's interested in learning about making guitars, they can come and talk to me. I can show them whatever, if I have the time, and show what's going on. But basically, you really have to love music. You have to love guitars. And you have to have a knowledge of woodworking and know how to work with wood and tools. But apart from that, anybody can do it. And I encourage other people to do it. It's a fabulous art form.
And I know you're also an environmentalist, because one of the things you pointed out to me with pride is mangroves in front of your home. And you said, we make sure we not cut it, we just do what we have to get out, but that's it, the mangrove.
Leave the rest right there.
The rest right there.
I don't mind the mosquitoes, and we got raccoons, and we got crocodiles that come right up here. So, I don't mind it. It's nature, and Belize really has to try, with the growth that they're having now in the tourism industry and etc., to control it. Really have to try and control it so we don't lose what we have.
No, Dale, you have seen San Pedro growing from that little town of 700 that you met. I think it was a village. It was in the 70s. It was a village. So you have seen it grown from a little village up onto a town and up to one of the fastest growing areas of the country. What have been your thoughts as you observed the evolution of San Pedro?
Well, if you're living here and the growth, you don't notice the growth as much as, say, for example, somebody who goes away for 5 years and comes back. They will say, "Whoa, what's going on here? The roads are paved. They have a bridge across the river." Those kind of things. We accept it here, and that's part of the changes, You have to grow along with the population because people have to work, they have to make a living and everything. But one thing I do notice is that the tourists come here, they don't notice that growth. They accept it for what it is now, and they love it. They say, "This is beautiful. You guys have something here that is rare. This is nice. The people are also friendly." And that's the thing. We have to keep that. And then when you go out by the beach and you look out there and you see that fabulous barrier reef, there's no other, that's $1 million view that you get for a $2 cup of coffee. You sit there, $2 it costs you to look out at something that is worth millions of dollars. And not in terms of money necessarily, but priceless. It's something that's priceless, and we really have to conserve that. And the environment, the mangroves, of course, very, very important to keep all of that balance going. But over the years, things have changed, but it's still a precious jewel. Belize, the whole country is a precious jewel, but you have to stop every day and realize that. You have to
appreciate it. You have to learn it. You have to love it. All right?
Yeah.
And you have to know why you're a Belizean and be proud to be a Belizean.
I'm very proud to be a Belizean. I come from a country of immigrants, basically. Canada is
a country of immigrants.
Same with the United States. But you don't realize that until you go to another country and become an immigrant. And it takes a while, of course, to integrate yourself and become part of the community and to be accepted. And hopefully, you get over the stigma of, "Oh, he's not from here," that kind of thing, But
Belize first, my brother. You're a Belizean for me.
There you go. And I tell people,
Belize is more important than anything else.
And they always ask, "Well, where are you from?" I say, "Well, I used to be from Canada."
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah, I used to live in Canada.
That's cool.
But now, like I say, I have 3 generations here now, so proud of that, and they're all hopefully going to grow up good and be part of the community and be musicians and hopefully guitar players and guitar makers. So let's hope the things continue in a goodly and godly direction.
Have you visited Canada recently, Will? Dale? I keep the Will and Dale thing.
Yeah, we should have Will here. Will should have been here. But that'll be another program, Will and Dale.
The story of Will and Dale.
And
Will and Dale playing for you.
Yeah, we can do that too, and the continuing saga. No, it's been like about 6 years, I would say, since I've been back to see, and I have a couple of brothers there still living there, so it's been a while.
Okay, but your family visit you out here from time to time?
Yeah, time to time one of my brothers comes down, and I try to encourage him to come down to pick up a guitar for my nephew. Otherwise I have to send it to him, and that's expensive. Right? I told him, "Well, you come down and pick up the guitar." Give you an excuse to come to Belize again. Yeah.
Well, Dale, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to say to our fellow Belizeans at this time.
Well,
I may not have asked you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I'm proud to be a Belizean. I'm imported, but not important. For the young people out there, the future is bright. And when I see the young people from the high school and a place like that, I say, yes, the future is good. It's bright. You have to have a positive attitude and stay away from drugs and alcohol abuse. Keep going in the right direction and find that place where you're happy and and work for it, whatever industry, if you're in the hospitality industry or the fishing industry or tourism industry, do your best and be proud and show the people the right side of things, the good side of Belize,
Well, Dale, it's been my pleasure.
Well, it's my pleasure too.
I really enjoyed this, and man, I have to come to you for some guitar lessons, right?
I'm always here.
Right?
And
drink some coffee and maybe talk a bit about
do that.
Will and Dale.
Yeah, that would be an interesting story. I'm sure Will would like to sit around and just talk,
Yes,
and we can play the guitars like the old days.
Like the old days.
Yeah, and just be very nice.
This has been a nice morning. And
beautiful way to wake up in the morning in San Pedro on a Sunday morning. I have to get ready for church.
Morning. We should tell folks this is a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I have to get ready for church. I have to go to the Living Word Church.
Okay.
Yeah, my whole family goes. My son and my daughter-in-law, my grandchildren, and my wife, and everybody's going. It's a good thing. Yeah, I changed my life recently, because being a musician and
I know I'm a musician.
that the musicians, late night parties everywhere. San Pedro's a party all night, every night. So I've changed my life a bit, trying to be more family person and go to church with my family and spend time with them, and hopefully my grandchildren will go that direction. Yeah.
Well, enjoy your day at church. I am not going because I'm here, but but all the best.
All right. Well, next time you can come.
Next time
come
I
and
come
visit.
and go to church with you.
Sure, it'd be wonderful. It'd be wonderful.
All right, Dale. Take care, my brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right.
Dale Wallace still resides on San Pedro and Burgess Key. He is now a solo musical artist who performs at various business establishments across San Pedro. He continues with his guitar making, but told us he primarily focuses on repairs, as people from across the country send their guitars to him for needed repairs. This has been Belize Watch Revisited. Thanks for listening.
Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you